This is Dubai, one of the world's most glamorous cities. If archaeologists were to dig the city up thousands of years from now, they might think it was the capital of the world. It has the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa. It has artificial islands shaped like palm trees, incredible lit-up bridges, and an airport you might mistake for a shopping mall. Dubai seems to have appeared out of nowhere in recent decades, a desert oasis of 3 million people. Not surprisingly, Dubai was built with oil wealth, but what may be surprising is that the city-state has now run out of oil, yet its economic power remains. Dubai is a major success story, and it happened thanks to the forward thinking of its 20th century leaders, who understood that Dubai's oil would one day run out, and that they had precious little time to turn their oil revenue into something longer lasting. But today Dubai is facing a new existential challenge, one that threatens its status as the finance, transport, and tourism hub of the Middle East. So how did Dubai get so rich, and what is the threat hanging over it today? In this video, we'll answer these questions, but before we do, make sure to hit the subscribe button to get notifications on all our latest videos. And if you like this video, hit the like button and help us spread the word. Just 50 years ago, Dubai was a small fishing town of about 30,000 people. It was the capital city of the Emirate of Dubai, one of the 7 emirates that make up the United Arab Emirates. Dubai didn't have much of anything. It was a desert town surrounded by thousands of miles of water and sand in any direction. Then in 1966, prospectors struck oil in the water off of Dubai's coast. At long last, Dubai was finally seeing some of the oil wealth that its neighbors, like Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, had been enjoying for decades. But with Dubai, it was different. The oil deposits discovered in the area were smaller than those of its neighbors, and the Emirates' leader, Sheikh Rashid bin Zayed Al Maktoum, understood that Dubai's oil riches would only last a few decades. That understanding fueled everything the Sheikh did. There's a quote attributed to him that goes, "My grandfather rode a camel. My father rode a camel. I drive a Mercedes. My son drives a Land Rover. His son will drive a Land Rover, but his son will ride a camel." Sheikh Rashid's quote was a prophecy and a warning. If Dubai did nothing, its oil wealth would soon disappear, and the city would be back to being a fishing village once again. So Sheikh Rashid decided to do something about it. He decided to use Dubai's oil revenue to build a modern city, a center of commerce. As the oil money poured in, Sheikh Rashid used it to build Dubai's infrastructure, a new seaport and airport along with highways, hotels, and warehouses. The idea was to turn Dubai into a major transportation and business hub. Along the way, Dubai got some help from an unexpected source: a civil war in Lebanon. Until the 1970s, Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, was the financial center of the Middle East and a major tourist draw. Beirut had a reputation for being more liberal and more fun than most Middle Eastern cities. But when a civil war broke out in Lebanon in 1975, the tourists and the financial activity disappeared. The position of the Middle East's official capital of finance and fun was wide open. Into that gap stepped Dubai. The city attracted numerous Western financial companies and law offices that opened Dubai branches. It built out hotels, restaurants, and shopping malls to attract wealthy tourists. And it embarked on a massive property development spree that has been bringing in real estate investors for decades at this point. The plan worked. By the year 2000, this former fishing village had transformed into a city of 1 million people. And today, a few decades later, Dubai has 3.3 million people. Its airport is the 5th busiest in the world and the busiest outside the United States. Dubai's per capita GDP is the 23rd highest in the world, behind New Zealand and ahead of France. The United Arab Emirates today are home to 650,000 licensed businesses. Maybe most importantly, Dubai succeeded in moving past oil. In the 1970s, oil accounted for more than 50% of the country's GDP. Today it accounts for less than 1%. Meanwhile, tourism accounts for 5% of Dubai's GDP, employing about 570,000 people. The transport sector produces more than 11% of Dubai's economic output, while banking and insurance accounts for 10%. But the granddaddy of it all has been real estate. Since 2002, when Dubai allowed foreigners to buy property in the emirate, Dubai has experienced an ongoing real estate boom. It has built some of the world's most impressive buildings and residential neighborhoods, such as the Burj Khalifa, which at 828 meters, or 2,717 feet, is the tallest structure in the world. Next to it is the Dubai Mall, which at the time it was built was the world's largest shopping center. But this real estate sector is a cause for concern. For years, many have argued that Dubai is experiencing a massive and long-running real estate bubble. People have been buying properties in Dubai without even visiting the country, and many fear that when the bubble bursts, there will be economic devastation. During the great financial crisis of 2008, Dubai's property market imploded. Buyers bailed out, leaving their deposits behind. Developers walked away from unfinished projects, leaving entire half-built neighborhoods unfinished. vanished. Over time, Dubai recovered from this crash, but today, fears about its real estate sector are growing again. To understand the problem with Dubai's real estate market, it's important to understand the city's demographics. 90% of Dubai's population are foreigners. Starting in the 1970s, Dubai began importing workers from abroad, particularly from India and Pakistan, to work on the city's giant construction projects. The United Arab Emirates has no path for citizenship for these foreign workers. This means that they are all effectively temporary residents who will one day go home. Most of the underlying demand for Dubai real estate exists only so long as Dubai continues to build new infrastructure and real estate at breakneck speed. The moment things slow down and those foreign workers aren't needed, the demand for Dubai real estate could dry up overnight, and the likelihood that this day will arrive is growing. That's because of the problems Dubai's neighbors are about to run into and what they plan to do about it. In 2020, the IMF released a report showing that the oil-rich countries of the Persian Gulf could run out of money long before they run out of oil. That's because the world is moving away from fossil fuels faster than the Gulf countries had expected. The IMF predicted that peak oil revenue for the Gulf states will be around 2040, or even sooner if the world accelerates efforts to shift away from oil. That means countries like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Qatar have 17 years or less to transform their economies before the oil revenue starts drying up. These countries are taking this problem seriously, and the solution they see is obvious. They want to copy what Dubai did. Take Saudi Arabia, for example. It has launched a program called Vision 2030 that aims to use the country's vast oil wealth to build a completely new economy, and in fact, a completely new country. Vision 2030 includes massive multi-billion-dollar projects such as the greening of its desert cities like Riyadh, the development of new renewable energy plants, and the reconstruction of the country's infrastructure. But the centerpiece of Vision 2030 is a $500 billion new megacity called Neom. The city looks like something out of science fiction. Plans are for the city to have flying drone taxis, robotic butlers in people's homes, a Jurassic-style park featuring animatronic lizards, glow-in-the-dark beaches, and even a huge artificial moon. Check out our previous video covering Neom City and Saudi Arabia to learn more about the future of Saudi Arabia. Many skeptics think Neom will prove to be a disaster, likely to end up a half-finished project in the desert, but then many said the same thing a few decades ago about Dubai. And Saudi Arabia isn't the only one with big plans. Qatar has launched its own Vision 2030 plan, which includes the development of a new smart city called Lusail that aims to be a commercial and financial hub. Meanwhile, Kuwait has launched its new Kuwait 2035 initiative, which aims to reskill the country's population from oil towards a new future as a cultural and commercial hub. In other words, the entire Persian Gulf region is trying to transform itself into another Dubai. If even a few of these efforts succeed, and some are bound to, Dubai will have serious competition from its neighbors. It will almost certainly lose its status as the financial and tourism hub of the Middle East, and that's where Dubai's massive and hyperactive real estate sector could become a problem. The reality is that Dubai has to keep growing just to stand still. Right now, there are two sources of demand for Dubai real estate: foreign workers who need a place to stay while in Dubai, and foreign investors who believe Dubai properties will be worth more in the future. Both of these sources of demand could dry up almost instantly. If business investment were to shift from Dubai to one of these new cities like Neom or Lusail, and Dubai were to stop growing or even slow down, hundreds of thousands of workers in Dubai's construction sector would leave the city. That would cause a massive drop in demand for Dubai real estate, and foreign investors seeing demand for housing shrinking would disappear. There would suddenly be nothing holding up Dubai's massive real estate market. This could cause the entire economy to collapse. And unlike during the previous real estate crisis in 2008, the next time around Dubai won't have oil money to help bail it out. A decline in Dubai's economy could be a long-lasting affair. But Dubai's leadership is aware of the problem. In January of this year, they announced an $8.7 trillion program to reform the economy. Dubai will no longer be competing for the title of the region's financial and tourism hub. It's aiming higher, to become something more like Singapore, a city-state with enough economic firepower to compete globally. The goal is to make Dubai one of the world's top 3 most economically productive cities. To that end, the government is launching programs to re-educate and reskill the population so that Dubai can build an economy based on homegrown talent and innovation. Only time will tell whether this plan will work, but the city's current economic model, based on massive real estate investment, is a delicate house of cards, one that could topple over at any time. Dubai will have to move quickly to transition itself before competing cities in the neighborhood come online. If it doesn't succeed, Sheikh Rashid's prediction that his great-grandchildren will ride a camel instead of a Land Rover may yet come to pass. If you liked this video, please hit the like button as it helps us spread the word about our channel. And don't forget to subscribe to get notifications about our latest news and analysis. In the meantime, check out these videos here to learn more. Thanks for watching.